Welcome, guys, to the Truth by Him podcast, the one podcast from Health and Wellness. I'm Anthony.
I'm Barron.
Welcome back to another week. Welcome to the
Another
happy
week.
hour. Welcome. We are here.
Another week.
So, how was your week?
My week was really good. It felt good not to hurdle this week. But yeah, I'm really excited for this coming weekend. And then I was able to actually, you know what? Somebody that I don't hear from in a while hit me up and was able to, if that's going to sound crazy, was able to invest into me. And you know, we do that a lot with others, and we give so much of ourselves. It felt
Right.
refreshing,
Right.
to just have some out the blue, just hit you up and was like, just wanted to check on you, see what's going on with you, how's everything, and stuff like that. So that was refreshing. That stuck out to me this week, and we're Thursday. So yeah, it happened I think yesterday.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, it was pretty good, a refreshing week. But how's your week? How's your week going this far?
Yeah. So far, so good. Not really any major hurdles. Just it's been really a week of putting things in perspective and learning. And I'm making it more intentional, not to look backwards and look at what happened, what was done. So that's important to me because I believe that healing requires more steps forward than backwards.
True.
Right? It's always good to recognize, things that happened in your past. But if you want to heal, you take 10 steps forward and maybe one backwards. Right. Because your past does affect your life and your future.
I agree with that. Like, you have to reflect.
Right. Have to reflect. So we are in June, and June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Right. So it's a month that we get to bring awareness to the things that we struggle with, our battles and things that we don't talk about.
Right.
Things that we may think about, but try to just throw that issue in your backpack. You just keep putting things in your backpack, and if you notice, the heavier, the more stuff you put in the backpack, the heavier it gets. Right. And eventually, something's going to tear or break down. Right. So, I like this month, and it's really cool that we're wrapping up, this month's podcast with bringing awareness to men's mental health.
Yeah. We actually, June is that, like you said, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. However, it's something that we focus on every day. Right. It's something that we focus on all the time. And I would equate focusing on this month like someone would focus on a marriage, so to speak. Okay. Like, you would, let's say you just flying through your marriage just blindly and just like on cruise control, and then one day out the year you focus on like loving your companion. It's our anniversary, so I'm going to do something this week. You make it intentional, but that's actually, that day highlights that day. It's a significant portion of the rest of your life and your past. So you should take the tools that you use that day and then use it throughout the rest of of the year. Right. So comparing to Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, we highlight it. We put the spotlight on it. We provide tools and coping skills. It's something that guys should take and use in July, August, November, December. So it's, we highlight it, yes, and it's important, yes. I was reading about this month, and I always like why do we focus so much on men's mental health? We've never done it before. Why do they dedicate a month? And technically, if you think about it, that's June, but in May it's mental health awareness for across the board. Right. So why would we pick out Men's Mental Health Month in June? Yeah. So I had to do some reading. Okay. The reasons why was, and we talk about this all the time, but it's crazy when I actually dissected it. Okay, so we all know that men commit suicide 3 to 4 times more than women. Right. That is not just U.S., that is across the board. Right. So the man that's in the United States suffers from the same issues that a man in Australia could possibly be suffering from. It's universal.
Right.
So, and you dial that down even more, 80% of suicide in the U.S., us.
Right.
Us. So, again, rabbit hole. It's like, why? Why, A, why are we that in that 80%? B, why are we 3 or 4 times more likely to commit suicide? We also do not speak to therapists. We don't take the tools. We don't use the tools because more women are diagnosed with depression and anxiety than men. So why isn't that the men, if we're dying 3 or 4 times more and we're 80% more, we control suicide rate 80% in the U.S., why don't we have, why are those numbers of clinically being diagnosed or clinically seeking help or clinically using tools, the gap between men and women is so diverse. We don't sometimes we don't feel comfortable. The stigma is real.
That's what I'm saying, is that you can't get diagnosed with something that you don't show symptoms about.
Right. Or you don't believe you have symptoms,
You don't believe, right? It's like I think people who are, they get diagnosed with cancer or diabetes, you have to go to the doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And or depression, you have to go seeking help. Or something's wrong, you have to go seek help. And I know that as a man, I felt those symptoms of depression, but I suppressed it. I'm like, I can handle it, or really just thought it was part of being a man. We have to carry this big load, and we don't need any type of relief. Let me I want to share something. Real quick.
And that's crazy. Like we don't believe that we believe it's a normal. We're supposed to struggle. We're supposed to be down. We're supposed to do all of that. And no, whoever's told us that we're supposed to do that, I would love to know where that came from.
And I put this on social. Mm-hmm. It says 444,536 suicides already in 2025.
Damn.
Just 6 months in. 70 to 80% of these are males, right? So the most, almost 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
75 to 80% are all males, right? And because I believe that years ago it was more men that was like 50 plus that were committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think it's kind of like reversing, or it's all ages now.
Yeah,
right?
it's including the 12-year-old.
Yeah,
I think, was that you that told me about that story about a 12-year-old?
I know a story about a 21-year-old who went up to Mount Rubidoux and shot herself, right? And it's interesting how people say, like, when someone dies or commits suicide, I didn't see anything, I didn't know anything, I just didn't know. He didn't show any signs of this. Yeah. And that's typical for a man. However, at the same time, we're in an age now where you have these podcasts, you have social media, you have all these tools that show you how to just, maybe you should ask questions, check in and see, how he's doing. Right. And I think that we don't really have that. We have that I watched a very, very interesting video. So we have that amongst us. Like, we have our group of men who ask us how we're doing or we check in with, right? So this video said that men don't need therapy, right? We don't need therapy. What we need is the ones that we love to recognize what we're doing, right? And that's our therapy, right? So we don't need to go and talk about our problems. We need the people that we love to hear us and see us and appreciate what we do.
I believe there's truth in that.
Yeah, there is. That was pretty interesting, right? Yeah. Because that's what we want. We want the ones that we love to open up and express. Say, you know what? How you doing? And a lot of times we get that when it's too late.
Yeah.
Right. It's too late. Or men are demonized for holding in so much pressure over the years, then we pop, oh, he's crazy, right? Or
angry black man, or angry whatever man,
angry man, right? But it's like we've been holding in this crap for so long. It's like when you blow air into a balloon, right? You're blowing air into a balloon. If you don't tie it off and let it go, it's gonna go berserk, right?
Yep.
And we just need to know that the people around us care about us, and I don't think that's expressed enough.
No, I don't. And then, so the question again is, why isn't that a common theme? Like, why doesn't that happen a lot for us? It could be the stigma of this, you're with being a provider comes this, with being the man of the house, with being the father, the leader comes this. Whatever that may be. It may be, you're supposed to carry more than the rest of your family. But if I was carrying a 50-pound weight uphill and nobody else was carrying, me and my family is going uphill, I don't doubt that one of them would ask, do you need me to carry that for you for a little bit? I don't think that, I definitely know Sean would.
Yeah, definitely Sean would, yeah.
If I got weak and if I started to look weak, I believe my daughter would too.
Yeah. Or at least take stuff out of the bag.
Or at least take stuff out the bag and be like, we're almost there. Let me go ahead and drink.
Right.
But the power, I believe, because it all starts with us, I got to be strong enough mentally to say, hey, you guys don't have any weight on you. You guys don't have anything. So here, take this, take this, take that. Right. It's like if we go grocery shopping, you and I, we go grocery shopping and we go to.
We're going tomorrow.
We're going tomorrow. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, we are going tomorrow. And but we're buying stuff for our families, our kids, and you're gonna have a lot more groceries than me. But you buy all these groceries for your kids, and your kids are at home playing video games, doing whatever they do as kids do. When you come home, are you going to bring all those groceries in? Are you going to unpack all those groceries? Or are you going to be wise enough to say, hey, we can get all this in and put away a lot faster if we work together?
Right.
It's not all on you. It shouldn't be all on us.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we have to understand is that, yeah, we carry a lot.
Yeah.
We're supposed to. But we also got to be smart enough to know when it's starting to get too heavy.
Yeah.
And to utilize the things and the people around us to help us out. Because ultimately the goal is to live long.
Right.
And you're not going to live long if we continue to do this, because we're 3 or 4 times, we're killing ourselves. 80% U.S., we're killing ourselves. That's 80% of fathers gone. That's 80% of providers gone. Right. That's 80% of givers of wisdom gone.
Right.
Legacy gone.
Right.
So where does that come from? We procreate. Yeah. You really can't. And I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure you cannot procreate without us. Science. Well, you can do anything with science.
Naturally, yeah. Naturally,
you can't procreate, so that's 80% of procreation gone.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's almost 100%. That's a B+. So it's like, we have to right the ship.
Yeah.
We have to start navigating to where that we can be, we can be here a lot longer. And I think we are, because what was I watching the other day? It'll come to me, but I was watching something and the old man, it'll come to me. Whoa. I've been off for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row I've been off. But the new 50 don't look like the 50s 20 years ago.
Why you point to me?
Well, I was going like this, but okay. The new 50 does not look like what 50 looked like 20 years ago. Right. So, I mean, we're righting the ship. We just got to continuously don't stop. We can't stop. We can't just stop navigating and think, oh, okay, we're good now. We can go back, because as soon as you let go of the wheel, it's going to go back the other way.
Right.
So,
yeah, I used to want to be not I used to be the guy who would carry the whole backpack the whole way, no matter how tired I got.
Me too.
Even though my family was behind me, because my mentality was I got to do everything that I can to make sure that they're not uncomfortable. You know, I have to bear the weight, right? And I used to be the guy that would go shopping and come in, and I'll bring everything in myself because I wanted my family to be comfortable, right? But then realizing that I'm doing them a disservice,
Absolutely.
right? And to not teaching them that, you know what, you should want to help and take the load off, and then also knowing that I'm not going to always be around. So there come a day where I'm not here and they're left on their own. So what am I teaching them right now to be responsible, being an adult? Because I wanted to be the one that, you know, I think it's different from taking care of your family, to be there for them versus doing everything for them, right?
Big difference, huge difference.
Because I used to want to be the hero, right? The hero that took care of everything, that made sure everybody was safe, and to a certain extent, that's okay. But if you notice, heroes, what's one thing they're always doing?
Always saving everybody.
Saving everything. Everything always has to have a problem to solve.
Yep.
And
it's never their problem. It's always someone else's problem.
And that's what I'm like, I don't want to be a 24/7, 365 problem solver. That requires so much weight and energy and commitment, and it's draining, right? And that's what's taking the life of our men, is that we're so focused on making sure everyone else stays alive, right? And I keep going. I keep going back to these quotes that I see. It's like, there's one that said, fathers spend their life. What do they say? We spend our life we spend our life teaching people how to live without us, right? And I'm paraphrasing it, but it just hit me like, yeah, that's what we do. We spend our whole life preparing our family or kids to have a life without us. And if we're doing everything for them and not requiring nothing from them, then I don't think that's working.
It's not working. You're putting them behind the eight ball. Let's just say, you know, we both have daughters. If we were to take care of and do everything for our daughters, what are we teaching them?
Right.
We're not teaching them independence. We're not teaching them how to be self-sustaining. We're teaching them quite the opposite. We're teaching them to be dependent on a man. We're teaching them that their value and their worth is whatever a man can provide.
Facts.
And for our sons, we're teaching them that I don't have to do anything now, because it arrives with me. I just wait for it to arrive at my door. I don't have to do all of that stuff because someone always did it for me. So now you're enabling them to be a sorry man. This is essentially that's what it is. Right. You don't even know it, but you're teaching them to be, when you give them everything, you're teaching them to be sorry.
Right.
You're not teaching them to be self-sufficient. You're not teaching them to be resilient. You're not teaching them legacy. You're not teaching them the power of help and stuff like that. So no, it's definitely, my mom used to always say a tub always has to stand on its own bottom. And I was like, what the hell? What's that? What's a tub?
What the hell that mean?
But yeah, that was one of the things she always used to say. And I'm like, you have to be able to stand on your own too.
Yeah.
No matter what, you know, the wind's going to blow one way or the other. You have to learn how to stand on your own too.
Yeah, I was trying to find that quote, but I can't find it. But it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I just remember how hard it was to be.
Whoa.
I said it was.
I'm back.
Hi, you're back.
I'm back.
To be open, you know, to start expressing how I feel without being weak, because you get to a point where like growing up, you think that everything that you accomplish or want is like outside. You know, you have the good income, you have the cars, you have the woman, you have the house, you have all this stuff, right? But not knowing that you're using that stuff to define who you are as a man, right? And once that stuff gets burnt up
or goes away,
you're burnt up, goes away. Like, who are you? Because I believe us men, we have our identity wrapped around, in what we do, what we have, right? And not who we are, not who God made us. And I had to learn like a very, very hard lesson. It's like, like for me, I would always seek outside validation, right? To dictate my happiness, my sadness. My happiness is contingent upon this. If I'm not making money, I'm not happy. If I don't have this car, I'm not happy. If I don't, if me and my, my partner is, if we're not talking, I'm not happy, right? It's like everything would affect how I am. That would take a toll on my performance. My performance would take a toll on my mental health, and then everything is like just shot. But I had to learn that I needed to be happy with just me. If it was just me, it's a trip how I can drive down any street and see a person that's homeless.
Any street, anywhere,
right? And they are smiling. They are happy. Well, at least what I see, right?
Yeah,
they are content. It's like because it's just them. And even with that, I was talking to a person that's from where are they from? I believe not Nigeria. And they were saying that how everything over there, they don't have running water, they don't have houses and cars, but they're so grateful and so happy because they're happy with themselves. Right. Us over here, we're not. It's about status. It's about what you have. If you don't have it, then you ain't nothing.
You ain't shit. You ain't got it.
You ain't shit. You ain't got it. And that's men.
And yeah, it's crazy because while June is important for us, it's also important for us as men to tell other men that if you're struggling with something and you're just holding it in and you're not talking to anybody about anything, is that anybody else's? Whose fault is that?
Well, it's yours because even though you're not talking to someone, your mind is talking to you.
Absolutely.
Right? And most likely it's not saying the things that you're supposed to be hearing.
Yep. And now how crazy does this sound? How I feel internally is predicated on outside external influences. How I feel internally is based on what I see, what's outside of me. I can't even imagine and knowing that, you have to also know who you are as a man. You have to know who you truly are, not what you bring to the table.
Or what you do.
Not what you bring to the table or what you do, but truly who you are. Are you a kind soul? Are you a person that's gonna help somebody if you see it? Are you the greatest indicator of who you are is just ask how your kids look at your kids.
That question was posed to me years ago, and it was so hard for me to answer. It's asked me, Anthony, who are you? Well, I'm a father. I'm a businessman. I'm a podcaster. I'm like, no. Who are you? Not what you do.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, who am I? So you broke it down. Excuse me. Are you a kind soul? Are you giving? Are you loving? And that's who you are. It's not what you do or what you have. And I think if you ask most men that question, who are you? They will. That's a question that we should ask this weekend. Who are you?
Who are you?
And I promise they don't talk about what they do.
I'm a good dad. I'm a good father. I'm a good husband.
Right.
No.
Yeah, right.
Who are you?
Right.
We're gonna start. That's the first thing we're gonna when we get everybody. Who are you?
It's gonna stump because it stumped me. I mean,
it's once you know who you are, and I believe that you don't truly 100% know who you are at one point in your life. Like if you're not constantly being comprehensive and evolving, and things are changing, your perspectives are changing, who you and what you believe and everything like that is constantly changing. It's evolving. So when you ask somebody who you are, more specifically, who are you at this particular moment?
That's crazy. We're talking about that, and as I'm wearing a shirt, and a shirt that I went through an experience, and it's like, who are you, right? It's like I am It says, "I am courageous, passionate, courteous. What's that? Powerful, inspiring, yeah,
intentional.
Like this is who I am,
Right.
right? It says nothing about my kids, my job, or anything.
Nope.
Right? This is me, right?
And your kids will be a byproduct of that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it will be a byproduct of that. So, when you know who you are, and more importantly, you know that you are constantly working on yourself,
Right.
because I'll be honest, let's just keep it a buck. We all get tied into that I am what I provide motif. We all, but you have to battle that with, although I am this, and I might not be I might not be this at this moment, but who I truly am is courageous, passionate, intentional. That's going to carry you through the times where it gets really difficult, when you don't, when you are, let's just say you've been the provider throughout your entire relationship, kids and everything, and now all of a sudden through whatever, now you're not. Now you're just not.
Right.
You are whatever. You got laid off, and now it's hard to find work. It's hard to do everything like that. So it's like, what do you pause? I can't even say.
I just laugh, bro. Go ahead, keep going.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking, bro. We're doing this too long. But when that goes away, you kind of lose your identity. You lose who you are. And if you don't have nothing to cling to, i.e., the I am
statements,
then you're going to go down a rabbit hole of, I'm not worthy of this. I don't deserve the love that my family gives. I don't deserve people asking me how you doing. I'm going to ignore phone calls. I'm not going to return text messages. And that's one thing we do as men, we isolate.
Yeah.
We isolate. You can ask a girl or a female or your wife or your girl, who's your best friend?
Yeah.
How many girl trips do you guys go on? But you ask a guy that, it's like, I don't know. All I do is work and come home.
Yeah.
All I do is work, maybe go to the gym and go home. But again, we keeping it a buck, right? We don't all go to therapy. We don't all, we're not all gonna, have, maybe some people don't have access to it or don't know how to go to therapy or how to do anything like that. So they just don't feel comfortable. They have trust issues, whatever. But do you have somebody you can talk to? As far, it could be anybody. When we thinking about stuff and we need to throw it on the wall and see if it sticks, we reach out to each other.
Right.
We have that option. We know we can do that without judgment, without anything like that. So do you have somebody like that you can converse with, that you can speak with and not be, you're not going to be judged?
Right.
And more importantly, if you do, are you utilizing them for that? Like, we don't have those conversations. We be like, damn, she got ass. Damn, whoop-de-whoop. Damn, whoop-de-whoop. But are you guys talking about stuff that truly matters to life? Like, I want you to be here for another 50 years so I can talk about you being 100 and I'm 98. Yeah, run that. I want that. I want that to happen. So I want to make sure you're here. Right. So yeah, I'm going to ask what's good. Are we still, whatever journeys we're on, are we still there?
Yeah, we have to get past the fear factor of being judged for what we do, for who we are, how we think, and our actions. Because you and I were talking at one of our last meetings, and I was telling you that I was afraid to take a certain action because I was in fear of being judged. Right. Being judged by my peers.
Right.
And that, and even get to the point to admitting that is a big step.
Huge step.
But a lot of times we don't take action or speak because it's the fear of judgment. It's the fear of, like, what is he or she going to think about me if I say this? I feel it. I know it's a real feeling.
Whoa, I feel it. It's crazy.
I know my nervous system is reacting, but if I tell Barron this, if I tell my spouse this, if I tell my boss this, whoever, I'm going to be judged.
Right.
And judgment is massive for men because we thrive off acceptance, right? But the key is that we have to be at a point where we accept ourselves, despite anything else. Once
Right.
we do that, everything else, things will pop up, and it may bother you for a second, a
Yep.
minute, or an hour, but you know that I accept myself for who I am, what I've done. That's what truly matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, knowledge of self. When you know who you are, when you know what you stand on, then yeah, people are going to talk about you. You expect that. You expect people to talk about you. Kobe said people always talk about the great ones. People always talk about the good ones and the legacy that they're creating.
Right.
If you think about it, if you ever go to a concert, a show, anything, all the boos are up top.
Right.
They're never in the front row.
Right.
They're never down where you can see them. All the boos are way up there
Right.
for the cheap seats.
Hiding, yeah.
Yeah, because they're mad. They're either mad that the people. Somebody told me this a long time ago. People hate you because they ain't you.
Right.
You know, and if the boos are way up there and I can't even see who it is, why do I care who it is? Why do I care? I know who I am. I know what I stand on. I know I'm not what you say that I am. So it doesn't really matter to me. So and then when you know that and you realize that, hey, this world is full of an infinity amount of people. Billions of people are in this place that we call the world. You're not gonna please everybody all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do when people think that when people live their lives trying to do that? Then those are the ones that are like, you know, I have no value. I have no more value in this world because person A, person B, person C stopped talking to me and they told me I ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I take that and I run with it, and now I go home and I ain't shit. So I might as well just go ahead and end my shit life. Not knowing that when you end your shit life, now that is somebody's child that is gone.
Right.
That could be potentially somebody's father that is gone, somebody's brother that is gone, somebody's uncle, somebody's stepdad, somebody's godfather.
And more importantly, God's child.
You're God's child. Like, you know, if you're looking at it like that, you know, just because those three people told you something, look at all the other, what do you think will happen with all the other people if you do that?
Right.
You know,
Right.
You think like that, you're too valuable. You're one of one.
Yeah.
There's no one like you, whether it's good or bad. There's nobody like you.
I was watching a TED Talk a while back about it may have been Men's Mental Health Month last year, just doing research and everything. And a TED Talk came up about this woman from the UK, and she was doing a TED Talk about men's mental health, and that's because her husband committed suicide, right? And she said, for years, he would celebrate birthdays and, be there for the kids, and I never knew anything was wrong, right? But he committed suicide either on his birthday or the day after his birthday.
Damn.
Right. So she has pictures, and she says, now looking back at the pictures, I see the sadness in his eyes. Right. But I didn't see it while he was alive. And that was crushing. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Right. Because we look past the pain of so many people every day because we're so much into a routine. Right. And we don't show it as much as our women do.
No.
We don't show our pain. We don't show our discomfort. We don't show our dissatisfaction. We don't show it. So because we don't show it, people think that we don't hurt or we're not in pain because we don't show it. And I think there's a time and place for everything. I don't think that every scenario is a scenario where we break down and cry and snot and do all that.
What you call those? What you call those?
What do I call those? Bitch boys?
Fem boys?
Fem
boys.
Fem boys. Yeah, fem boys. Like every time, no. But
That's just funny.
We should have the space to do that because I think sometimes it's needed.
How do you create the space?
I think the space is created. The space is created when the people that love us start opening up their arms and their minds to us and saying that it's okay for us to be open, honest, and be weak for a moment. Because at times when we are weak, at times, the person in our life will use that as ammunition. We use that as a weapon, right? I think we come to a place where we learn that it's okay, like coming into our community, it's okay to do that. And now what you need to do is that at this point, now that Anthony knows it's okay, right? I know it's okay for me to be weak, to be vulnerable, to be not okay.
Right.
I know that now. Now it's my job to go talk to my girlfriend, my spouse, my kids, my mom, saying, hey, this is how I lived my life for 50 years. It was exhausting. I'm tired. I get weak. I need to know that if I come to you and tell you these things, well, first you gotta know I'm not made of steel. Right? I'm not Superman. I know you think that because that's how I presented myself.
Right.
As someone who is Superman. I know that was me, right? But I'm telling you, I'm not. So I need to be able to talk to you in my moments of weakness, tell you I'm weak, and you believe me, right? And you ask me, you tell me it's gonna be okay, and you allow me, if I need to cry in your arms without saying anything, right? Once we do that, I think that's a space that's created when we have those tough conversations with ourselves first. Like,
Absolutely.
Anthony, it's okay. It's okay for you to be weak. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay. Once we do that, I think that's when the narrative changes.
And it's a good point because I asked the question because it's important. Then you touched on it. Like, pause. I'm on point today. So yeah, creating boundaries.
Yeah,
You have to create boundaries, and people think that me creating boundaries is telling another person no, and it's not necessarily that. Boundaries to me are, and I use this a lot. Like, if anybody, I should write a book on this because boundaries should be used as a buffer zone. Let's just say, hypothetically, my breaking point is here at this line right here. And I never say anything. I never do anything. I never do anything until it's like right there.
right.
That's not doing me any service.
Right.
But if my boundaries are right here, see this space that I have right in between it, it creates a buffer zone for me to actually flourish in, or to actually, when everything gets stripped away from me, when all of life's bullshit is starting to hit me at one time, it's right in here. This is my limit, not this.
Right.
This is my limit. So when I hit this limit, now it's time I need to reach out. I got to say something. I got to do something, because if I don't, then it's just going to escalate and climb higher. So when you have strict boundaries, when you have things that you definitely will do, things that, okay, I know if X, Y, and Z happens, I need to talk to somebody.
Right.
Whoever it is.
Right.
You, wifey, anybody. I need to talk to somebody because I'm a pop if I don't.
Right.
That is me recognizing, A, who I am, B, what my limits are, and C, making sure that I make the conscious effort to have those right pieces of people around me.
Right.
So if you paid attention to that, everything that I said has to deal with me making sure that I articulate my feelings, making sure I surround myself with not the right people, not the wrong people, the correct people for me.
Right.
You know, that is all on me. If I don't do that, and if I don't say anything and I just work up until I pop, then I'm a statistic. Right. That's exactly what that means. You're going to be a statistic. Right. So it's important that we as men create boundaries to protect our life, because I want to be here. I want to be here as long as I can. I want to be able to, talk shit at the ATM and I'm like 80-something years old and dare somebody to say something to me because I'm old. I can do what I want. I can talk how I want.
Right.
So that's my goal. If that's what I want to do, if something as simple as that, then I need to do everything in my power now.
Everything.
to make sure that I reach that goal.
Right.
So boundaries are important, and people will say like, you don't answer your phone, you don't do this, you don't do that. I don't answer my phone if I'm spending time with my family.
Right.
I don't answer my phone if, I'm on the basketball court. I'm not doing that. So you can say I don't answer calls, but if I tell you I'm on the basketball court, then, he ain't answering his phone. Yeah. I know where he ain't answering his phone. He'll hit me whenever, If you know me,
right,
then you're gonna do that. If you don't know me, you're gonna say what you want and think what you want, but if you don't know me, do I really care what you think about me? So again, it all falls on us to protect us.
Right.
Because the one thing that we always say, nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to save you. If you're waiting for your girlfriend, your wife, your kids, your friends to walk up to you and just hold you, great. I mean, that would be great if that happens, but let's be realistic. How often does that happen?
Right.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen because they think, oh, Dad got it. Especially when you over 6 feet and you're statuesque. You look like you can handle your stuff.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm human, just like y'all. I get tired, just like y'all. I have limits, just like y'all.
Right.
I pop just like y'all.
Yeah. And everything, you can have everything in the world, but if you don't have yourself, it means nothing.
It means nothing.
Right.
It means absolutely nothing.
What's the I'm not sure what the actual verse is, but in the Bible says, "Was it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses himself?"
Loses his soul.
Right, loses his soul. So a lot of men are losing their soul, but there's time, right? There's time, and we can reverse the pandemic of suicides. I don't believe it will happen in our lifetime, but we can plant that seed and have our mission outlive us, right? Because this can carry on from Sean to my son to Sean's son. So that's the goal, and I love what we're doing because our mission is so big that it won't be complete in our lifetime.
No,
that's a mission.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that is a mission.
That's a legacy.
That's legacy.
Yep.
So it's just very, very important that at the beginning what you said, how this is June is mental health awareness month for men, but we have to take it to July, August, September, October, November.
Yep.
We got to carry it on because this is something that 1 month won't save our lives.
No.
Right? It won't.
No.
So we just have to keep bringing awareness, keep doing these podcasts, keep talking, keep letting men know that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to not be okay what you're not okay with, right? Because a lot of times we just handle it and we just deal with it because I'm not okay with that, but I'm a man, I gotta take it, right? So that's the beauty.
Rare form of it.
That's the beauty of what we're doing, and
look at how I'm gonna rephrase it. Look at how impactful we are on the mental.
Yeah.
How many times do we hear that, man, I thought I was the only one? Yeah, or, you dealing with that too?
Yeah. Like
it has so much dialogue and so much back and forth in there where guys are really, I remember a time when we started at 6 and we'd wait till like 6:05, 6:10. And just they're there before we are on, and as soon as we get on, there's a waiting room. There's a waiting room of guys, and it's because there's value in that. It's because these guys aren't all seeing therapists. These guys aren't all.
If you notice, I don't know if you caught that last week. One of our members, he said, yeah, you guys are therapists. You catch that? I'm like, oh, okay. So they see us as their therapist, but we're not therapists. But it's therapy.
It's therapeutic. Yeah, it's
right?
therapeutic.
So that's why you see that.
And no, we don't come off. We don't say that we're here to fix problems. No. And we're here for that, because half the shit that they're going through or been through, we're either going through it ourselves or have been through it, and all we're doing is sharing life lessons and speaking on how we got through something, and then or how we were taught that we needed to get through something. I remember when I was younger, my father or even me, you didn't hear the word mentor a lot. You didn't hear I have a mentor.
Right.
You didn't. My dad. I never heard that from no man that I saw growing up. Or my mentor. I never heard that.
Right.
And we all had coaches growing up in high school, but I never thought of them to be mentors. Until I'm years removed from high school, and I'm like, damn, that was a great coach. That was when my basketball coach passed, and we went to his service. Bro, it was everybody there from the times where he was a student there. His college teammates were there. Every student, damn near, he coached in high school were there. If they hadn't moved on already, they were there. So it goes to show you how impactful things are, how impactful a person is. But if I'm thinking about that now, it kind of like low-key kind of pissed me off. Here's why. I hate when something happens, tragic, and everybody shows up. Why couldn't we do that when they were living? Even if it's just a call or if it's just something like that. Like that really irks me to the point where, like, my family on my dad's side felt the same way. And so what they're like is like, okay, well, we're all in different states. We're all in different time zones. We're going to dedicate once a month to a family Zoom call. Family Zoom call once a month. And it's where we all can get together. We pray together. We talk about business. We talk about each other. We talk about, what can we do to help support each other and stuff like that. And at the end of the call, we pray and we love on each other. And that's it. It's something that we look forward to. Some of us miss it on some Tuesdays, but for the majority of it, we're all on there. And it was because my aunt had lost my dad. She lost her mom, her dad, well, my aunts. A lot of them, her sisters passed, stuff like that. So it was like, we're tired of coming together on tragic moments. Let's stop doing that. Let's just start being intentional while we're here. Because when we're gone, everybody wants to just say, oh, he was this, he was that. I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have seen him more. And that's stuff you don't necessarily talk about in public. That's something you carry in your car with you when you're leaving the service. That's something you go to sleep on and you're thinking about it and you're like, I could have, I should have, I wish I would have done. And instead of wishing and just fucking do it, like just be intentional, be super intentional on that. So
and that I swear that feeling fades once time passes and it'll come back into the next funeral.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
when my sister passed and we went out there and it was, oh, I'm tired of seeing. Only time I see y'all is this. I said, well, planes fly from the East Coast to the West Coast every day.
24/7.
Planes, trains, automobiles, they fly to the West Coast every time. We fly out there all the time. And it's no problem. I actually like it, honestly, but you have to have balance. You have to, if you're that distraught,
Take Spirit.
Take a trip. Just go ahead and do that. Or just make sure you're on the calls. That's it. If you can't, there's answers to the questions. It's just, do you want those answers? Do you want those answers? There's always answers. So, okay, great. I get it. You don't want to see us only see us during tragic moments. But
it's a choice.
It's a choice.
Life's about choices. And as men, we have the choice to speak on our behalf or be quiet on our behalf or to prolong our life or to end our life. We all have that choice. So with that, what you got for us in closing?
We are powerful. We are, as men, we are sons of kings. It's not an arrogant thing. It's not arrogance. It's knowing who you are and knowing that you are one of one. And once you know that, you take responsibility for everything around you. Right. If you have a bunch of no good people around you, then you need to get new people around you.
Yeah.
If your family isn't being what you want them to be,
or need them to be,
they don't know if you don't
get in
tell
the family.
them. Huh?
Get in the family.
Who family?
Get a new family.
Get a new family. Hell no. I mean, that's always an option. That's always an option.
I'm just kidding.
But it's easy to stick to the devils you know.
Exactly. Amen to that.
It's easier to get, if you got a car and it's got, you got to crank it once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know your car.
Well, Elon is building actual robots that are people, so you can actually buy a new family and have them do everything that you want.
That's crazy.
That's bananas.
And then you'll probably be bored with that.
You'll probably be bored with that.
You'll probably be bored with that. Right. I used to be careful what you ask for. In high school, I used to want to date this girl, right? Like, man, she's gorgeous. Like, I want to date her. Everybody was on her. I want to date her. I'll go out with her, see what's up. And I was like, it wasn't until I actually got with her and I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, I know what I don't like based on her, on that experience. I don't like an agreeable woman. I don't like a yes woman. I don't like that. I want you to have your own mind. I want you to challenge mine. I want that because respectfully, yes. But that's what I wanted. I just was like, it was like that.